We are here live talking about Monday Night Raw, the Raw recap. It just ended. The big news, I'll get right to it right away. The Women's Royal Rumble match will happen in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on January 28th, I believe. And it's going to be an amazing match. The main event of tonight's match was a 6-man match with the Absolution against Sasha, Bayley, and Mickie James. So, let's get right to it, folks. We were live in the Dunkin' Donuts Center, Providence, Rhode Island, my favorite place on the planet. The Kurt Angle, the general manager, came out and said, hey, I'm going to make an announcement later on in the show about who's going to fight at the pay-per-view, who's going to fight Brock. And then Strowman came out, Kane came out, and Brock came out. Angle says, well, let me make my announcement now. It's going to be a 3-way. I thought he was going to make it later on in the night, but he ran like he had to go pee or something. I mean, he ran out of that ring so fast it made his head spin. Paul Heyman was there in all of his glory. Lesnar, Kane, Strowman, they all had a really great time. The crowd had a great time just seeing these three guys in the ring, and I think the Royal Rumble match is looking pretty darn good for this. And then they went to Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins. Except, Seth Rollins came out, and then Jason Jordan came out and said that he wanted a match against Joe. Joe said, well, why don't you two fight, and the winner fights me? You know, that works. I love the fact that Samoa Joe's turning into kind of a, you know, I don't really want to fight either one of you guys, so why don't you guys fight first, beat each other up, and then we'll pick somebody. I thought that was kind of a cool little deal. So they did have the match, Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins. It was a long match, actually. I'm surprised how long Jason Jordan's actually going in some of these matches, but he did end up losing to Seth Rollins, and we'll see what happens from there. Yeah, Joe beat up Rollins pretty good. They went in the back. He said he wanted a match with Joe, and they made a 6-man match. So it was Rollins, Ambrose, and Jordan against the Bar and Joe. We'll see what happens later on. And then they did the Bray Wyatt thing. They talked about the Great War, and I really want to see where they're going with this Great War thing. I actually hope it's not at the Royal Rumble. I hope they make it last longer, but I heard they're going to try out some matches for the 205 Live stuff. So, like, you know, they're going to do all the 205 Live matches, and then this main or semi-main will be Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. I'm kind of wondering about that. But they probably need to put something on there to make it look good. I think they should drag it all the way to WrestleMania. And they could have a great time with Bray and Hardy. Then they had a 2-on-1 handicap match to Mr. Raj against Finn Balor. Not super interested in this. I hate handicap matches. I just hate handicap matches, and it seems like, you know, it just degrade these guys so much. But they team up, and Mr. Raj gets DQ'd for teaming up on one person. Then Hideo Itami comes out, and they make a tag team match. So I'm cool with the tag team match. And Hideo Itami and Finn Balor end up winning that match after Axel got hit with the GTS. So they're pushing Hideo Itami. They're pushing the fact they've been tag team partners. It'll be very interesting later down the line. Excuse me. Drew Gulak and Cedric Alexander had their match. Enzo Amore came out first and talked about Star Wars. Talked about, you know, just all normal Enzo promo. Talking with Drew Gulak in there as well. He faced off against Cedric Alexander. Enzo had a call during the match itself and interrupted the entire deal. And Cedric Alexander won the match, number one contender, and probably face off against Enzo at the Royal Rumble. I'd like to see where they're going with that, but that will probably be the match. Unless they shoot it quicker And then they could have a Deo Itami feud, but I would love to see them build. So Nia Jax was the one who blew up Enzo's phone, and they were going to talk, but Drew Gulak came out and said that he had some problems, he lost, and all this other stuff, and he made everybody look bad. And Nia said, "We'll just talk later." I think if you're gonna end up dating anybody in the wrestling world, you should at least get a hint that he doesn't want to talk to that person, and help a brother out and take him away from the situation. So I don't think Nia Jax would make good girlfriend material if she can't read, read what her man is saying, if that's where they're going with it. But anyway, Alicia Fox and Asuka had a match. It was a quick match, but of course Asuka won. I'm tired of the Asuka and Alicia Fox matches, so those can stop anytime. It'd be great. And it'll be interesting to see what happens when we have Asuka in that women's battle or in that women's Royal Rumble match. I think somebody's going to eliminate her and try to make a name for themselves. Samoa Joe and The Bar versus Jason Jordan, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. Great match. These guys tear it up all the time. The Bar and Samoa Joe won. Rollins jumped and Ambrose got hurt. I don't know if it was for real or whatever. But The Bar and Samoa Joe won the match. They did go back to the medical area and did get another beat down, so I don't know what happened there. And Rollins looked like he got hurt, but Ambrose looked like he got hurt worse. So I think they're trying to take him off TV for a little bit, which will be interesting because the Royal Rumble is, a month away. So a limousine arrives. Out comes Stephanie McMahon. What's Stephanie going to do? I already told you, but I'll tell you again here in a little bit. Dean Ambrose, he hurt his arm, and so we'll find out how bad that is. The Revival against Rhino and Heath Slater. The Revival came out. I'm just excited to see the Revival there. But Titus Worldwide's group was there too. And Dana was taking notes, and it very much reminded me of Alexander York from the York Foundation. The York Foundation, like 91. It was great. And can I just say, she looks very nice with the glasses on. I like the school teacher look. It's quite cool. The Revival ended up winning the match with the Shatter Machine over Heath Slater. Not over Rhino. Rhino looked very good in this match. Elias comes out, says good things about Tom Brady, and then says, well, Tom Brady, he's very good at a lot of things, like blowing up, like inflating footballs or deflating footballs, and immediately he gets a whole bunch of heel heat, as they were in Providence, Rhode Island. And then Sasha comes out, and he makes some thing and says, "Hey, it's Sasha, thanks for coming out with me. I'm going to sing the song." Mickie James comes out. He says, "Hey, not a bad deal, two ladies." But then Bayley comes out, and he's like, "Yep, see you later." And Bayley tries to give him a hug, and he says, "No, I'm good, thank you, bye," and leaves. And it was just one of the weirdest things. But it kind of is what it is on that. Sasha, Bayley, and Mickie James had a match against Absolution. They went for a little bit until they had another disqualification in a tag match. I was a little disheartened that they did that again after doing that earlier. But kind of is what it is. And all hell broke loose. Everybody came down, and then Stephanie came in and called for the Women's Royal Rumble on January 28th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So that's what will happen. Those will be the next things coming up. Philadelphia, PA is going to have the Royal Rumble, the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match, and it will be glorious. So I want to thank you all for listening to the Raw recap show. You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you here tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning. Scott Show wake-up call. You guys have a fun rest of your day, and we'll see you real soon here on The Scott Show.